Hey babes, and welcome back to Slay and Pray. It's me, your girl, Melissa Renee. I hope that you guys are doing well. If you are new here, welcome to the family. If you have not already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, click notification bell so that you never miss when I post another video, okay? So I am here with another Wednesday word. We have another woman of the Bible. So we're going to get into it today. We are talking about Ruth. And yeah, we're about to see what she was all about. So let's get into this word. Okay, babe. So we're going to be getting into the story of Ruth. Okay. Now, Ruth can be found in the book of Ruth. Okay. The whole book. Okay. Now I do believe that I did a Slay and Pray episode on the book of Ruth. So in this video, I'm gonna go over the whole story, but I kind of also want to talk about the characteristics that Ruth carried because girl, I want her as a friend. Okay. So let's get into it. So Ruth, was a Moabite woman. Okay. Now she comes into play because Naomi and her husband, Elimelech, I hope I said that right, and her sons moved to Moab when there was a famine in Bethlehem, right? So they were there for about 10 years. When they moved there, Elimelech ended up passing away. And then both sons married Moabite women. And then 10 years later, um, they both died. Um, so Naomi was like, well, I don't have nothing here. My family is gone. Like, I'm about to go. So y'all go ahead and go back to y'all families, and I'm gonna go ahead and go back to mine. Okay. And the Opa, I hope I'm saying these words right, these names right. She was like, deuces. She went back to her family, okay? But Ruth, on the other hand, Ruth was like, no, no, your people will be my people, your God will be my God. Like, let me find this in the Bible because okay, so it's right here in Ruth chapter 1. It's starting at verse 16. And it says, but Ruth said, do not urge me to leave you or to turn back from following you. Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. So Ruth was not having it, okay? She was like, girl, I'm coming with you. Ain't no stopping me. Let's go, okay? So they go back, and so at that point, Naomi's like, okay. She don't really have a choice, right? Because Ruth already told her, girl, I'm coming. So anyways, they go back, and Naomi's so messed up from her husband and her sons dying that when she gets back, she's like, don't call me Naomi, because Naomi meant sweetness, right? And she told people to call her Mara, which meant bitterness. So anyways, so Ruth begins to like glean in the fields, picking up the left behind grain and stuff that they drop behind, that the harvesters drop behind or whatever, so that they can have food because they didn't have anything. They were poor basically. And Naomi, why do I keep saying Naomi? Ruth ended up gleaning in the field of Boaz, right? And so Boaz took care of her, okay? He told them to watch out for her, to literally like drop grain on the floor on purpose, on the ground on purpose, so that she could pick it up so they can have extra stuff. Like, he was really there. Like, he wanted to help her out, right? So, after that, she goes back. She tells Naomi what happened. Naomi realizes that Boaz is a relative of theirs. He was a kinsman redeemer. So what a kinsman redeemer is when back in those times, when a husband would die, their relative would have to like take care of their kids, take their land, or marry their wives. And yeah, so that's a kinsman redeemer. So that's what Boaz was to Naomi, because yeah. Okay, so just from what we've just talked about, we can tell the character of Ruth, right? Ruth was very loyal to Naomi when she didn't have to be. Her husband died. Like, she could have literally just went back to her family and was like, bye, Naomi. I hope you make it back safely. Like, period. Like, she's from Moab. She didn't have to go with Naomi, you know? She chose to do that. That's loyalty, okay? She literally gave up the land that she knew, where she was from. She gave that up to go somewhere where she had no idea about where she was going, you know? My thing is messed up. Okay. She didn't know. Like, in Moab, they served idols. They didn't serve the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. So she was literally giving up what she believed, what she was raised in, the things that all she knew, for a completely different life. Completely different life. We don't know the financial situation of Ruth's family, you know, but she goes to Bethlehem with Naomi, and they're basically poor. Like, that's nothing, but God works in the strangest ways sometimes. You understand? Like, God doesn't need the most qualified person. He don't need the most anything. All he needs is a willing vessel. That's all God needs. That's all he needs to work with, is a willing vessel. Okay. And I'm not even sure if Ruth really knew what she was doing and then how God was going to bless her and use her. Do you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't, like, a lot of times, sometimes we'll make decisions and it's really God's hand at work, and we don't really understand that until we be like, oh, that was God. That was nothing but God. Does that make sense? Like, have you ever had that happen in your life where you're going through something, you make a decision, you're like, well, I don't know if it's right, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it because I feel like this is right. I'm gonna go ahead and do it anyways. Right? And then something happened and it blows your mind from that decision that you made. And it's just like, I cannot believe that God did this. You understand? Like, God deserves all of the glory. Now, let's finish the story. So I'm going to make it short because, again, I do have a slay and pray video on Ruth. I will link that in the description box down below. So make sure you check that out. But as we know, Ruth ends up marrying Boaz because Naomi tells her, after Boaz was good and drunk, she told her to go to the threshing floor and lay at his feet, uncover his feet and lay at his feet, and Boaz tell her what to do from there. And so she does that, and Boaz remembers that there's another relative that's closer to Naomi than he is, but that relative wanted nothing to do with Ruth, so Boaz married Ruth. Right now, the greatest part of this story and how God works and how God blesses those who are just willing to be vessels for him, who are just willing to love him, who are just willing to go after and do his will. Like, it's amazing. So Boaz and Ruth would become the great grandparents of King David. And because their son was Obed. I think I said that right. And he had Jesse, and of course Jesse had King David, and that put them in the family line of the Messiah. So who knew that this Moabite woman, who gave up everything that she knew to follow her mother-in-law to a land that she did not know, to serve a God that she did not know, to be put in the family line of the Messiah? Now, God worked in mysterious ways in both of these women in this story. I should just make this video about Naomi and Ruth because God worked in both of their lives, okay? Here you have Naomi, who lost not only her husband, but her 2 sons, right? She was broken. She was hurt. She felt like God had left her. She felt like God wasn't on her side anymore. She changed her name to Mara, which means bitterness, right? So she was already down in the dumps. She was already in a state that was not good, right? And then you have Ruth, who comes there to comfort her, to be there with her, to make sure that she has somebody on her side. You know what I'm saying? So and then you have Boaz come into the picture, and Boaz is like You know, when people talk about Boaz, they be like, I need my Boaz. Like, all the women want their Boaz, right? But, so anyways, not only did God bless Naomi and Ruth, I mean, not only did God bless Ruth, but he blessed Naomi as well, because when Ruth, I keep messing their names up, when Ruth gave birth to Obed, Naomi loved that baby like it was her own. So it was kind of like God restoring, replacing, not can't replace, but like restoring her in a sense, right? Like she had thought she lost everything, like, and God blessed her with this with a grandchild, basically. Like, and then for them to literally be great grandparents and great 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 grandparents to um King David, like, and to be in the line of the Messiah, that's nothing but God. That's nothing but God. So if you ask me, Naomi, like I just said, Naomi is the great, great, great grandmother of King David, and Ruth is his great, great grandmother, okay? Because Naomi is just as important as Ruth is in this story to me. Like, both of these women trusted in God. They both had faith in God. They both had to believe that something was going to change, that God was going to show up for them. Like, right? Like, it had to. Like, God was there every step of the way. God delivered them from the stuff that they were going through, right? They didn't have anything. God provided a way for them. They may not have seen it that way at first, but God provided a way for them. God provided Boaz to come, first of all, to lead Ruth to Boaz's field, you know, for Boaz to see Ruth, for God to bless them through Boaz. You understand? Like, I don't know what your situation is. I don't know what season you are in, but let me tell you, whatever season that you are in, whatever it is that you are going through, trust and believe that great and beautiful things are going to come from this season of your life. Like, this, it's time, like, again, like, let's feel our feelings. Let's go through the emotions. Let's not dwell on it. Don't dwell on the things you're going through. Don't dwell on the hurt. Don't dwell on the pain. Don't hold unforgiveness. Don't do it. It's a new year. I'm going to keep saying it's a new year because it's a new year, okay? And it's time out for all of the old stuff, okay? God got you. God got us. Like, we literally have to stop being stuck. Yeah, this season ain't the greatest of my life. Like, do I have everything I want? Absolutely not. Is everything working out the way that I planned them to? No. Absolutely not. If anything, things are working in the opposite way for me. We just gonna be honest. I'm very transparent on this channel. But again, this is a beautiful season in my life, and I appreciate and I love God for the things that He has done for me, and in the season that I am even in right now. Because beautiful things come from these type of seasons. Do you understand? Ruth and Naomi had no idea what was going to happen to them when they went back. They didn't know how they were going to, if anything, they just thought that Ruth was going to be out here just gleaning in all these fields. Like, we literally cannot get down, and we literally can't get so discouraged to the point where we're just like, Lord, I just can't. I just can't. This story right here, it should be a witness to you that God comes through in those times when we don't even know when He is. You understand? Naomi was bitter. Like, she gave up. Like, it's insane. But God is always there. God is always working behind the scene. Okay? I cannot wait to hear y'all testimonies for what God is going to do in this season of your life. After this season is over, I cannot wait to see the blessings that God is going to produce. Even if that's not financially, even if that's not materialistic, even if that's just you getting closer to God, even if that's just you renewing your mind, you know, allowing God to renew your mind, even if that's just building a better relationship with Him, building a better relationship with your family and those around you. Those things are blessings. Those things are pluses. Like, don't despise small beginnings. Okay. I just kind of went on a rant there, but yeah, this was Naomi's character. She showed loyalty. She showed faithfulness. Like, she was a great woman. And I'm gonna need me a friend like Ruth. Okay, like, girl, where you at? Okay, because she was a woman of great character. Okay, um, so yeah, that's basically it. That is the story of Ruth. She was a woman of faith. She was a woman of God, and yeah. So I hope that you can take something away from this video, even if it's a small thing. I hope that you can take something away, apply it to your life, and yeah. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye, babes.